What up, great people? What up, what up, what up, great people? Once again, it is Tuesday night. I am your boy AD,
And it's your girl D. Gang. Gang.
and we are here
Touch my
for everything nice plus twice the advice. So, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we would like to say, what's up? What's happening? How you doing? How was your day? Free Nino.
Period.
And don't judge me. You don't know my life.
Period.
So, tonight's topic and discussion is
Mm. What is it,
this
babe?
this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I signed up for. And well, without further ado, we're gonna jump right on into it.
Okay.
Um when you one when you get involved with someone and it seems to be a lot more than what you bargained for, the first thing that you want to do is quit. Why is that? It's because this isn't what I signed up for. You are not who you made me out to believe that you were. You are someone different. You display different things in character. There's different truths in personality and truths in conversation. So it's easy to come to the conclusion to say, yeah, this ain't what it is. I'm out. I'm out. And I don't know, man. It's just we put so much faith in people and so little effort into being real. I think that the problem with people is that we have these great expectations out of people that are imperfect. And we have uh, these ideologies of what a relationship or a marriage or a partnership is, and they aren't realistic. When you go through so many hardships with a person, it will leave you drained. It will leave you emotionally drained and mentally tired. So, asking yourself all of the questions of, did I make the right choice? Should I do this? Do they feel about me the way that I feel about them? Is this worth fighting for? All of that runs through your head. And you have to weigh the pros and cons. You have to um, evaluate yourself. And sometimes it's even necessary for you to take some time out to be by yourself, to analyze yourself, and to learn to love yourself and value who you are as well as what you
I think a lot of the times, the this isn't what I signed up for is because so many of us walk into situations with expectations. We walk into situations in our mind. It's going to be what we have in our mind, not knowing what the other person may have in their mind of the idea of what the relationship should be. And so it gives you that this isn't what I signed up for kind of as you signed up for what you saw in your mind, not what you actually saw in reality.
are. In reality, relationships are hard. Marriage is even harder. Raising children is a tiring and thankless job. But if you can get to a place with the partner that you've chosen to be able to communicate and work through different things, you'll see just how beneficial it is. It is always best to know the person that you're dealing with from a spiritual aspect, because then you can kind of relate to them um beyond their flesh, beyond their emotions, and beyond the unknown. So um you have to just kind of like accept it for what it is. I remember hearing when a person shows you who they are the first time, you have to believe them. And in so many ways, I felt like I was manipulated and I was taken advantage of, or even not taken seriously in circumstances, because people do fucked up stuff, and you have to forgive them, and you have to learn uh, their character. You have to learn their disposition. You have to uh, give an account for what role you played in certain things being illustrated throughout the relationship. So all of this goes into your head and you're still feeling some type of way. So that's why you have to drop the P in pride and let it ride, because your emotions will lead you to feel like um the hell with it. But if you are married and it's to death do you part, there's a lot that comes with that. There is so much that comes with a marriage, and even more so the statement within itself of till death do us part, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor. And let me be the one to tell you, because even though me and my wife are um we work well together, there's many times that I wanted to leave her right where she is, in whatever circumstances that she had brought about, and not care because of my feelings, because of what I have gone through and endured, and because of my opinion shared with people that didn't necessarily have the same uh, appreciation of our relationship, our union. But we still here. You know what I mean? Like, we still here. We still kicking it. We still trying our best. We still giving what we have to the world and to one another, so that we can try to do something that hasn't been done, not only for our own sakes, but more importantly, our children. Um, but I do uh, feel that it's necessary to say, when you get to a place and you say that this is not what I signed up for, oftentimes people will begin a exit routine. Uh, a lot of people will help you build the foundation and then finish the structure with someone else. A lot of people will invest so much time with you and cash out because you haven't met their uh,
Standards or time frame
their idea of what or who you should be in a relationship for them.
for them, not to them, not with them, but for them.
Yeah. Um, but there's also a lot that comes with that. You have to Oh man, it's so it's such a delicate thing when you get tired. Um, you can either call out a lot of blessings, or you can call out a lot of lessons, or you can call it quits. And it is an ongoing process. People are always changing, and that person that you started with, the person that you fell in love with, is not going to be the same person 10 years down the line. They're not. But if they are worse off today than they were yesterday, then that tells you something about them, and that's something that you really need to look into and evaluate yourself. If they are seemingly the same, then that gives you a whole lot to think about too as well. But if that person is evolving the same way that you feel that you are evolving, and you guys have the foundation of communication, trust, and love, uh, self-respect, self-love, integrity, then you should see that person evolving one and the same. You should see that person um, reaching for higher heights to be on the same level with you. And then it may not be who you fell in love with, but the potential is still there, and the love is still there to make things make sense, to make things work.
I think that oftentimes people really do grow tired in the endurance that it requires to make relationships work. I think um, a lot of people fall in love with the person that they're dealing with in the honeymoon stages of the relationship, the very early stages of the relationship, and doesn't allow for the time of that kind of high to come down for the real person to show up. Um, I don't know. Um, I feel like if you go into it with the right reasons, then you can still kind of find your way through when the storms hit. You know, for the first time, probably like last night, I was listening to Can You Stand the Rain? Who sings that? New Edition.
Um, I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think so.
I think it was New Edition. And for the first time, I listened to the words of the song and finally, like, actually understood what they were saying. Like, you could be with me, but can you stand when it's storming and raining outside? Like, I never actually caught that. Like, I've heard the song and I've caught this or that, but like, I don't know. It hit me with a whole new meaning. And then
Yeah.
it was kind of like coinciding with the title that we had decided on for, this isn't what I signed up for. You think in the beginning that everything's going to be rainbows and sprinkles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely an eye opener. I don't know, man. You can have an expectation for a person. It doesn't mean that they're ever gonna meet it. You can have it's like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can want such great things and beautiful things, magnificent things for a person. You can desire the world with this person, and even in your own imagination, um, travel the world and be willing to give this person the world. But it does not mean that they're gonna be worthy of it. It does not mean that they're gonna be appreciative. It does not mean that they're gonna value that shit the way that you do. People are people. People are uh, creatures of habit. And the reality of it is, um, it's probably better for you if you're in a situation, if you looked at it and you've evolved and you have evaluated your spouse or your relationship to see that this is not what I signed up for. It's probably best for you to communicate those emotions, communicate those concerns, because there's only so much that a person can take.
Hey, Courtney.
There's only so much that a person can take. Hey, cuz. And years learn something will really do something to you. It can definitely kind of chip away at um, you know, at your energy. It'll definitely do something to your emotions. It will uh, taint your spirit. You know what I'm saying? When you put in too much time with something that's no good for you, it's cancerous, and that cancer spreads. It's like an old car. It can be the most beautiful car when you park it, but if you don't drive it and you don't wash it and keep it covered and wipe it down and nurture it the way that it truly needs to, whether it be a brand new car or a classic car, it will eventually begin to rust.
For those of you just joining us, our topic for tonight is This Isn't What I Signed Up For. This isn't what I signed up for. How many times have you been in a situation, circumstance, situationship, relationship, or circumstance where you found yourself in this isn't what I signed up for?
Yeah, man. Um, we have a comment here and it says, I think communication is a
I
big
can't get
thing
it.
in a relationship or friendship. If you don't communicate, you are just wasting time. And that's true. And even when communicating, you have to make sure that the other person is receptive. Oh, oh man, so many times you can talk and talk and talk and talk and share every emotion and everything and expectation with the person, and they can physically hear you, but they don't apply that in a literal sense. It's okay, yeah, babe, all right, sure. And it's heard, but it's not uh
Adhered.
received. Yeah, it's not really digested.
Mhm.
And it's a hard thing to deal with. It's a hard hard situation to deal with because people wear faces. A lot of people have masks. That's why a lot of people don't like me, because I'm the same person every day. When I'm angry, I'm angry. When I'm happy, I'm happy. I'm usually goofy and telling jokes and trying to keep about that same type of energy, and I try to be cautious about that. And then when I'm bitching. And when I am, um, bothered by something, it's gonna be displayed. I'm not the type of person to play a role. I wasn't good at it when I was in school. I wasn't good at it in relationships. I wasn't good at it when I was in church and people was playing church. That's just not my thing. Um, I'm a very genuine person,
Hey, hey, hey.
and in most cases, when I see people um, for who they are, I don't mind unmasking them. I will tell them, "You full of shit. You are lying. You're a liar. You are a manipulator. You are um, not who you portray to be."
Now I have a question. If you are in a situation where you find yourself saying, this isn't what I signed up for, um, does that mean that the relationship itself is over?
I've been there. I'm not in that place anymore. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I love you, and I value what we have. But if you can't meet my standards and you can't get to where I am, um, if you're not going to evolve with me,
Mhm.
then it's better that you be by yourself.
Now, I'm curious to know. So, pardon us as we figure this out. Um, there was a time where not that you were not yourself, but that you asked that I wait for you. And
Mm-hmm.
during that time, you were not at my level. You were not meeting my expectations. You couldn't necessarily give me what it was that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there are seesaws in a relationship, times where one person will be ahead of the other?
Absolutely. But I feel that uh, regardless of that, when you are at a certain level, especially when you communicate with a person or when you are at
I guess like point in the
a
relationship.
certain place of intimacy
Okay.
and communication
Okay.
with a person, you don't have to tell there's certain things that should not have to be illustrated with words. It's kind of like, excuse me, match my drive. um, Meet me halfway, run this race with me. And when you're running that race with that person, you're not looking to pass a baton.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking to see that person in the stands. You understand what I'm saying? You're,
Sure.
you're looking to see that person uh um with you, coaching you on, cheering you on, being that energy to carry you forward. A man goes to work and busts his ass on the clock, whether he works for himself or he works for a company or whatever it is that he does.
Gotcha.
But he's going to get the bread and butter. He's bringing home the bacon. And when he comes home, he wants to walk into a house, into a setting, into a atmosphere that he feels appreciated, one, but value. He wants to look at his woman and see himself satisfied with what he sees. Um, that does not have a damn thing to do with hair, nails, makeup, clothing, anything. He wants to feel validated with going out and providing. He wants to feel that everything that he's doing is with reason. And if you are able to meet that standard for your spouse, then he's gonna feel content with going to work with beat down clothes, with raggedy shoes, with, what I'm saying, nappy hair to no hair, because the the appreciation is there. The value in what it is that he's doing is coming from a genuine place. It has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with uh uh even that type of physical thing. The chemistry and the bond, the that's what's unbreakable. That's what he is saying. I do this for my wife and my family. I'm content with uh laying it all down on the line for their sake, for this right here, seeing about them makes me feel satisfied. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with that. So, when one person or the other is not on the same level, I don't think that that has anything to do with a person feeling like it's more than they can handle or it's not what they signed up for. When you are married and you're with a person, and then you're doing everything that you can, and you're being his every woman, he betrays you when he uh makes an act against what it is that your bond is.
Mm-hmm. What you vowed to.
Right.
I understand.
And cheating a person and cheating on a person are not the same equivalent.
I must agree.
But you can cheat a person consistently. You can cheat a person throughout a relationship and not cheat on them. Do you still consider that person being faithful to you, committed? Is that a commitment to you? Because a person can give you 30% of their effort, they can give you 15% of their attention, and they can give you 100% of their presence.
Mm-hmm.
That does not equal 100% of them. And they don't cheat and they don't lie and they don't, but they're not giving you their all. And that is one and the same of the equivalent of being cheated. That's one and the same of the equivalent of settling for less than, or playing the emotional game of, you know I love you, and I love what we have, but I'm not there yet. I don't know what's missing. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't figured me out. I haven't learned to be this type of way or that type of person. I'm still trying to find out who I am. You know, every excuse in the book for not giving you 100% of them, for not meeting you halfway. And that will give you the idea of saying, well, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't what I signed up for. I don't know if I want to do this. So how do you how do you look at that and resolve that for yourself? How do you turn around and decide whether or not that's something that you want to salvage, or if it's something that you could still hold significant and valuable to you?
I think that again, for me, it's just going in with the right idea. I do understand that even in a relationship. And D, please go ahead and drop your question, and we'll definitely respond together or however.
It's itching.
um, I do feel that sometimes you have to recognize that you're in it for more than just kind of where you are. I was gonna say you could reach that.
Almost.
Let's look at it like this. There will be times throughout the course of a relationship, situationship or circumstance where one person may seem in and the other one may seem out. There will be times where those roles reverse. There will be time where both people are in it and things are still not what they could be. So I guess my true question is, if you begin to feel as though this isn't what I signed up for, then do you evaluate it for where it stands and walk away, or do you take a look at the history and make a decision from there?
History has nothing to do with your future.
Okay.
History has nothing to do with your future. History is not going to salvage anything between you and a person, because if you always focus on what was, you with you dealing with that person, you may never be able to catch it. It's like trying to chase the same high.
Right. I understand. Um,
You can oh, when we got together, you used to be like this and you used to do like
well,
that, and
no,
we used
not
to.
to that degree, but I guess I understand what you're saying. I'm saying, I think about it like people, right? To know who you are, you have to know your history, right? You have to kind of know where you come from. That's why a lot of people kind of feel this sense of being lost. So I feel like in a relationship, sometimes you kind of have to take a step back from where you're at and look at big picture, like, okay, there was this time where this situation was this way, and then there was this time where this situation was this way, but we're here. Does that matter in whether or not you move forward?
um yeah, I guess I could
So
understand
that
why
when I
you would say
say when
something
I
like
say
that.
history, that's why I look at it in that fashion, because um there
But
are times and situations in relationships that the other person involved could literally have saved your life,
right.
not in a physical sense, but brought you out from a place. And again, we're ever changing, we're ever evolving. Does that mean that when you get to this, because again, all of life is highs and lows,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a low, does that mean it's not worth it to hang on? What's up? So let me address this question real quick. Um, do you feel that being in love with someone is more important than loving them?
You have to have a certain amount of love for a person in order to be in love with them. But being in love with the person is a different level of love. It's a different it's a different energy. It brings
It's
about
a different
a
kind of
different
love.
amount of, yeah.
It's a different
There's
kind of
a there's
love.
a there's a significance that is unfathomable when it comes down to being in love with the person, because being in love with the person you love, they stinking draws.
I was gonna say
You
too,
know,
that as far as being in love and loving someone, again, it is required for you to love them in order to be in love with them. But you have to be very mindful of being in love with people, because so many people fall in love by themselves.
I think you're absolutely right about that. And I think oftentimes a lot of people spend more time in love with the idea of being in love than they do actually being an illustration of the love that they have for a person. For instance, um, you want to be proposed to, you want to be valued, and you want it to be a showcase. You want it to be the Cinderella story, you know, the glass slipper and the Prince Charming with the big diamond, and the entourage and everyone to see you get proposed to, because you're now going to be the missus. And then it becomes about the wedding and the gown and the colors and the people, and most of them fucking people don't like you and you don't like them, but you want to invite your ex so they can watch you marry the person that took the chance to uh, 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 give you the last name and not do, like, I just feel like a lot of people fall in love with the idea of love,
Mhm.
but don't have an understanding of what that love has to endure to truly love someone, to truly be valuable and meaningful to that person. It's like a game of chess. And I've seen some people push pieces playing chess as if one piece is less valuable than another. And even though some pieces move in different directions and have a purpose in the way that they move, every single piece on that chessboard is valuable.
Absolutely.
Every single piece on that chessboard, it moves and it's intricate. It comes uh with with a purpose, and there's a certain striking factor when moved meticulously, you know, to beat the person mentally.
Now, I have a question, because I don't know how to play chess. I get the concept, so to speak, but let me ask you a true chess question. How long after you started playing chess did you understand how important the movement of your pawns were?
um Immediately, but I didn't understand how the I didn't understand how deadly they could be,
Mhm.
because I was so focused on how many other moves the other pieces could make.
Okay. So when I think about the this isn't what I signed up for,
Mm-hmm.
right? Grand scheme, in the same kind of sense of the chess analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The queen and the king is really how you kind of take over the game, right? The queen.
The queen, you want to protect. The queen even lays her life down to protect the king.
Okay, which is phenomenal because it goes hand in hand with my analogy. There are so many pieces to the puzzle that has to be moved around in a relationship before you can really say this isn't what I thought it was going to be, because in a relationship, two people trying to become one as a unit, there's so many things that has to be shared. There's so much growing that has to be done. There's so much maturing that you go through while you're with this person. So in my opinion, it kind of takes for you to go through those lowly places for you to really realize or recognize or even value what a high really is.
Okay. Um, I get where you're going with that. I could kind of understand that. But if you if you get a dog, right? You get that dog as a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you pick out from the litter and you pick the one that you know
Picks you.
picks you, the one that has that little spark in its eye, and you have that spark. You guys share that, and you take this dog home and you nurture this dog. You love this dog. You bathe this dog. You feed this dog. You do everything that you can with this dog. You protect this dog in one day, in hopes that the dog will protect you and be loyal to you
Mm-hmm.
and obey you and commit to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you change and you evolve and you get a job or you go to school, and um
He must be an Aquarius. No, he's not.
as as you're doing all of this, um the dog has to evolve and change too. And even though the dog does not understand and the dog does not necessarily have an idea of what's going on, but the dog is in compliance, because this dog loves you. And this dog continues to adjust and adapt to each change that comes along with you,
Right,
right?
right. I'm with you.
As you spend less time with this dog is a dog. It becomes more meddlesome. It chews shoes. It bites the couch. It urinates on the floor. It makes a mess. This is what this dog does. This dog needs attention. This dog still needs that time that you put in with this dog as a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And you go home and you've been so busy and so wound up with your day that you don't think what it is that you're doing. And you stick your hand down there in that bowl. What is that dog going to do?
He's a dog.
That dog is going to do what a dog does.
Right.
That dog is going to bite you. Now,
Yep.
let me ask you a question. Whose fault is that? Is it the dog's fault? Is it your fault? Is it the job's fault? Is it the adjustment? Is it the changes, the time that you haven't spent and the separation between you and the dog? Who's at fault for what it is that you get as a result from what happens in that interaction?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I got you.
It's you, right?
Yeah.
Being accountable, it still falls on you.
Right.
So when you're in a relationship and you're in a marriage or you're in a partnership, right? Do you get rid of the dog?
Absolutely not.
You keep the dog,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you're in a partnership or you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and things don't work the way that you want them to work, right? Um, time. You got two people working 40 hours a week, right? You got two different people growing and evolving in two different areas in two different fashions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You continue to communicate. You continue to evolve. You continue to push and support and provide and protect. But your spouse is in the same place emotionally that they were in when you guys met 15 years ago. Your spouse still is capable of doing
Jesus Christ.
the exact same thing that they've done before.
Okay.
And you, as a person, are going to look at that person and say, you're up to the same thing that I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the same thing that led to this.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? And you question all of those things. It's okay to question them, but if you understand how people work, you can be accountable for even what it is that you see when it comes from a person. Even what it is that you get from a person, and you don't understand what it is that their action is. You don't understand why they're reacting the way that they act. You understand what I'm saying? But you can be accountable for it. So what I'm saying is, even in the beginning, like we said, if what you show me, when you show me who you are, if I don't accept that, then I can only be accountable 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line when I get this exact same thing from you, because I knew that
Mm-hmm.
and I accepted that and I made excuse for that. I can't blame you, because that's like blaming the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fault you because I knew that that existed the entire time. It's 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 a lie that's untold, whether it be a little white lie or a complete embellishment.
Now, my question is it possible, has it happened that for there to be misconceptions or misperceived actions
Between you and I,
in general and with people?
people will interpret whatever it is that they interpret, however they, how, with the powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
It, I mean, depending on how you was raised, depending on what it is, some people are just, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think everybody's up to something. I don't trust nobody.
Correct. So I guess the reason why I asked that is because we would watch movies, right? And in the movies, there would be an infidelity that happens early in the movie, right? And then later on, the partner is up to something fishy,
And the plot
and
thickens.
yeah, and then the plot thickens, and then you come to find out that the person's like, I know that they're up to no good. I know it's awful. I'm just waiting for it to show up. And then, I don't know, a dog pops out of a box. And it's like, I was acting funny because I bought you a dog. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, in my perception, I thought that what you were doing was similar to what I've seen before, but I was wrong. I had a misperceived idea of what it was that I saw. I think
Okay.
a lot of the times, I'll use this as an example. I won't put any names, but I know someone who was with someone when they were 13, 14, 15 years old. And way later in life, at 40, this person got back with that person that they had been with from 13, 14, 15 years old. Obviously.
And what did you have the expecting of the same person that you dated at 13 and 14? It's
Well,
crazy.
I don't think that it was the same expectancy because there was too much that had happened for those two individuals.
No doubt.
Marriages, divorce, children, moving around the country. There were all of these different things. But they attempted to go at this relationship thing again, right? Um, and the outcome of it was, even though they agreed to part ways finally, right?
Mhm.
Because it just wasn't working. The response was, um, you know, funny. The love doesn't go away, it just fades.
Mhm.
Me and this person could come back together at some point, but where we are right now, we just don't see eye to eye.
People grow apart all the time. People change, and a lot of times
What up?
people change, and um when they're evolving, there's no communication that's illustrated between the two. So you look at a person evolving and you don't understand it because you can't comprehend it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like reading a book and reading a book, and you know the person's name, and you know where they went, and you know where they lived and who they were friends with, but you have absolutely no idea and comprehension of where this story is going.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at the story and say, it's just like when we were in school and we wrote writing prompts. You had to have a narrative, and you had a cluster to take this to that to this to that to get where you made a story. Okay. So as people grow and there's no communication, there's no understanding, you have people that are looking at circumstances and they're looking at someone, and it's as if you're growing and you're leaving me here.
Right.
And
I just wanted to really quick. There was a comment. I think people grow, but not grow together.
mhm,
And I think that was kind of in line with what you were saying, right?
yeah, there are times where people will grow and evolve together. Love should always love will always exist. It's either it what it should do is it should grow more in depth, more profound, and be something all the more capable of breaking anything but the two of you apart.
Now, I have a question. If one person in the relationship is growing and the other person, so to speak, is not,
Mm-hmm.
does that visually or circumstantially mean that you're growing apart?
Oftentimes it's perceived that way,
Okay.
but that's where the conversation comes to where, is this what I signed up for? This isn't what I signed up for. What is going on? Pieces to puzzles work the way that they work because they're made that way.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an understanding of who you're dealing with, then that's where your expectancy comes from.
I understand.
So when you have a person that um is evolving and growing, or portraying their growth,
Mm-hmm.
self-proclaimed betterment or acknowledgement, and you know you see it, that becomes a fashion
Mm-hmm.
because you know that they're still capable of being old dogs up to the same old tricks.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see a person and you say, damn, that's old girl, wait, that's old boy, that's, oh, they own some big things. Like, I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to hear that. That man, you really have changed.
I was
Man,
gonna
you
say
really
that.
have grown.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and in a relationship, you can see those things. It may not be um professed as openly because you see this person every day. You see them at their lowest, you see them at their highest, you see them when they're beautified, you see them when they're, you know, junkified or junctified or functified, and you know
Whatever you want
whatever
to
else
call
you
it.
want to put on it. But when you look and you acknowledge, like, man, you know, you're filling out, you know, you look beautiful, and it's working for you, or you know, usually you'd have went off, I thought you might have said this, that, and that in response, but you didn't. Man, I can appreciate that. I'm loving your growth.
Yeah.
I can value where we are right now in our relationship because I feel like I can talk to you about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though
Welcome
you know
back,
what we're
Ebony.
doing is we're connecting on a different level.
Right.
You know, it's when you get to a place and you say, hey, you know what, man, it's like we finish each other's sentences.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't come from practice.
Mm-hmm.
That comes from expression and growth.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That comes from being able to connect with each other. And that's even why when it comes down to you know, sexual deviance and not being faithful, you take on all of these other things and you don't necessarily know what you could possibly get yourself into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you act out on these things and you don't understand why you're acting this way. I mean, like for me, I was never the type to give a damn about female was doing, and then I got into a relationship and I was in that relationship for a long time. I went from checking phones in that relationship to checking phones in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's all said and done, you are what you eat, but you also have to be who you are in order to fulfill that growth and that bond. You don't you don't know how someone else is going to interpret what it is that they're getting from you.
Absolutely. I must agree.
But if you practice what it is that you put out,
Yeah.
then you'll be cautious to make sure that they're able to catch it and identify that.
Yeah.
If they're not able to identify that, then you understand that this isn't what I signed up for.
Yes. But being that, I mean, I just feel, I don't know. I'm a little bit more whimsical. I am openly much more of a romantic. I do believe in love, second, third, and fourth chances, because in love, I may not get what I'm getting from this feeling of love from another feeling of love. So I will say, okay, no, like, no, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna try it again. No, we're gonna go at this again. I don't feel like, yeah, this right here isn't what I signed up for. But there's another stage to that. I mean, blindly, really quick example from our first year of being together, right?
Mm-hmm.
First 6 months of being in the same space, when we were talking to each other, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. We enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed each other's conversation. And we could take each other places in conversation. And we still do right now. But in the beginning, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. And I'll never forget, you and your grandmother got into an argument that
Mm-hmm.
ended up escalating into you and your mom getting into an argument. I had never seen anything like that before, right? And it wasn't what I signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had taken the advice of those that were around me at the time and ran, then I would not be in this place where AD&D is a real thing.
But you weren't in a relationship with my grandmother or my mother.
I
You were
wasn't.
in a relationship with me, and you understanding.
But it wasn't about what I saw from your grandmother or your mother. It was what I saw from you.
Was it not communicated? Even though it was something that you weren't familiar with, was it not communicated?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. It was
Okay.
explained after the fact, but it
Okay.
wasn't communicated prior.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, well, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm not one, I don't really like to get agitated or
I'm biting my
upset,
tongue.
which is fine. But even still, for me, because you know, I get all of that. I just didn't see it being what it ended up being. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me at that time, it really was like, this is not what I signed up for. I had no idea. And it wasn't about the outside, it was about me and you and the relationship and the conversations and communication that we had then. Seeing that come out of you, that was not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
You understand it wasn't.
Yeah, I understand more than you think.
Right. But at the same time, I wasn't going to turn around and take that one situation and say, like, I wash my hands, this ain't what I signed up for.
Right.
So in a lot of different fashions, it's been the same thing as a continuum, where there's been times where we've not seen eye to eye, we've bumped heads, we've not agreed, we've not been on the same page. We've kind of, you've grown ahead of me or I've grown ahead of you, and I'm like, this isn't what I signed up for.
Right.
But I just don't feel like even that, at whatever point that it happens, is a substantial enough reason to just say, okay, this isn't what I signed up for. I wash my hands. I want no more.
Yeah. I definitely can agree with that. Being that we're married, definitely, it also takes a certain amount of patience, because you will and can be disappointed in relationships regardless.
In any
Dealing with your
relationship,
yeah, dealing with your mom, dealing with your grandmother, dealing
dealing
with
with your
your
children, with your
children.
siblings, disappointment is a real thing.
Yeah. And I'm not very big on forgiveness. Um I'm I'm a forgiver, but if you don't want to have to deal with what comes with doing me wrong, just steer clear of doing me wrong. Because if you do me wrong, you're gonna wear it. How long? The world may never know. I'm not Jesus. I don't have to forgive you. So I'm okay with that.
I'm your wife. You have to forgive me.
You look,
I mean, you can speak
you
for the
you
people,
you
but
you you say that, but if you even if you play, I'm not Jesus. So at the end of the day, um, I mean, like I've worn my weps. I've done my weeping. I've done my professing. I've done my correcting. I've done. I've given a lot to be in this position where I'm at as AD of AD and D, and D has given a lot as well. However, if it don't get no better than this, I don't have no problem with calling it quits because I would rather love you and respect you than grow to dislike you or feel like this is exactly why I should have listened, or I regret, or I feel like there is no better. So at the end of the day, knowing yourself
thank you. I
and
appreciate that.
anyway, so thank you guys for joining us.
For sure.
It's another Tuesday night. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see what next week brings. You're looking to get a shirt? Free Nino, join Free Nino Gang. That'll be coming to you soon. Um, keep on supporting AD&D, watching. Uh, we got some more merchandise coming.
Absolutely. The Don't Judge Me, You Don't Know My Life merchandise is here. If you would like a shirt, don't hesitate to hit us in our inbox, DM us, or you can reach out to us here on the channel as well as our email for shirt orders, and shipping is available.
So, y'all know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. You dig? And don't forget, Tuesday, right here, 10 o'clock. Twice the advice. Good
Good night,
night.
y'all.